thought I'd do a quick video about my two 1949 Remington All news. I genuinely gave away a Royal Futura to a coworker as a Christmas present, and she loves it, and she has two other antique typewriters and antique glass key stuff, and I'm trying to get her to let me service them, but now she'll have something that she can type on instead of typing on a rock for a platen as well. Anyway, that was who got the other half of this blue ribbon. I added a eyelet to the part I spliced off. This doesn't take eyelets, but I paid up for this machine. This was about $75. It was a local machine for, dirt for shipping. It's about, Wisconsin local, okay? Had the new style case. I love these machines. That's why I paid up. These motivate me to write. They're durable. They're tanks. You can't hurt them unless it's deliberate. And that's what I'm going to get into. So this one's an Elite font. This one's a pica font. And I took it to work and I was typing, and my process is I get something finally writ up, a story, a poem, and get it on paper, and then I rewrite it on paper and pencil, because I'll have scratch marks and erasers and stuff. Get it through on the pencil, then I take it to the typewriter and edit the hell out of it and change things. I'm about 3/4 of the way through this one, typing it. And then I take it to a computer and finish it off and spell check and rock and roll. And then I submit it to something like free submissions on the internet that I can submit a story to or a poem. And anyway, I'm typing on this last night, and one of my new residents' family members is like, "Oh, old school," and he was remembering he took typing class, and we start talking, and his daughter's dating a guy, and their family was trying to figure out where the money was coming from. It turns out the guy has 3 published books. And I said to him how one of my other residents has a son who's a published book author, so if I finish a story, I give her a copy of it to kind of make it fall into his lap. And they say Willie Nelson used to dig graves before he made it, so I kind of got to believe in the whole thing. Of course, I ordered this National Defense Service Medal because I earned it when I was in the Coast Guard, so that's a whole nother deal, though. But I'm just glad I earned that. I'm getting a different outlook on things. The book says, where is the ribbon? Well, there was no bounce in the, it's like 0.009 to 0.012 amount of play you're supposed to have in here. So I bought this, thinking I wouldn't have to do any work, and then the ribbon was not winding up on the left spool. And it turns out that this secondary advance pawl here has a giant notch out of the corner. This little one here. Giant notch out of the corner, and it was sticking and not advancing the ribbon any. You have to change the whole assembly. You can't just take out one little part. It's all rivets. See? There's no screws. It's all riveted in. So you just take the body plates off, undo a screw on each side, knock the C-clip off of both of these, and push down the keys and kind of slide it out the right side. But you also have to take off the gear over there, and then you can lift this spool shank up and get clearance to do that. Well, all that said, I get it back together, I take it to work the next night, start typing, and damn it all, there was no play in this cup. There's supposed to be that bounce. And what it turned out to be was a gouge in the shank. The gear was sticking on that, and then not only that, but the gear is warped. And so it was touching down. Think about a record that's warped. I don't know if you can see it, but it's very wavy and warped. Well, it's bent. And it was touching down on this. So by the time on this brown brass colored one, so by the time you got this up high enough to clear this, there was no bounce, no play in the whole shank at all. So obviously something was wrong. So I changed the whole assembly because I had a parts machine. But for something that I shouldn't have had to work on at all, let alone that had been serviced at Packerland back in '62 whenever they opened, and pre-920 area code stuff. It makes me think that they were trying to kill it off so they could sell a new model for that year and get rid of somebody's old typewriter. Well, and plus it was missing the ribbon spool for one side in there too. There's the little like ring, like you put on your finger ring, for the ribbon to go on. You don't need them with this. You can just lay an eyelet in the slot here of the spool cup and then put your top on with the 3 prongs. But I had one. So between that spool ring and those the parts I needed here, and then that ribbon reverse drive assembly, I would have had the cost of the damn typewriter. So it does not pay. Pay your bills first and all that stuff. Don't put yourself in financial dire straits is the whole key to that. And don't expect that even if you do pay up, because I paid half as much for that one, and it doesn't mean, and it has no problems, where this one had all sorts of problems, and I paid twice as much for it. So live and learn and pass it on, right? All right, everybody. But now that it's fixed, I mean, these are just tanks. I love them. I absolutely love them. All right, Elite and Pica. There it is. Same year, different case design. So Remington was getting on top of their problems with that right away. Happy New Year, everybody, and keep writing.